good afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you are, and welcome to another Tuesdays with Manj. This is the 8th one, and yes, we're talking about that infamous four-letter word, which isn't the F word, it's very much the L word, and we are talking about love. Wow, and a huge, huge topic it is. First of all, what is it? What is love? What is this thing that we're always talking about? All these ideas that we have. There's so many ideas that we have around it. And so many, I'm gonna stick to just a few things. And before I get there, I'd love to share a story with you. And it's based on the question that I asked a few days ago. On Facebook to you guys, and thank you all so very much for answering what are the three most important things in your life. There were so many answers from all of you, and I'm grateful for your input. And the ones that came out the strongest were, of course, love. Love was in there. There was family. There was health. There was freedom and fun and spiritual growth, spirituality. Awesome answers. And of course, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's whatever is the most important thing, three things to you. Now, I asked that question very intently. I was actually looking for something, and I'll tell you that in just a moment after I tell you how I got to that question. Now, actually, I've got to go back 10 years to when I was living in Crete, and the person who posed the question to me, a dear friend, an angel in disguise named George, who I'm incredibly grateful for asking me the question. So he did. And there we were. He asked me, as quick as you can, without really thinking about it, what are the three most important things in your life? And my answers, to be honest with you, I can only remember one of them, which was this, all of this that's right here. There we were on the beach. It was night. There was a huge moon. There were the mountains. There was the sea. Nature is very important to me. And I probably said freedom, and I probably said love or health or something like that as well. And then he asked me a question. And this is a question I'm going to ask you. And before I ask you the question, I want you to observe how it feels in you when I ask you. I'm curious. I'm really curious. So just get ready for this, and you see the response that you have within yourself. So the question that he asked me after I said nature, freedom, or whatever I said was, how come you didn't say yourself? And I paused. And it was great reason for me to just stop and think. And over the 10 years, I often go back to that. Often. George Efaristopoli, thank you for asking me that question after the initial one. So I've said that now, and I'm curious to see how you responded to the second question, because I've asked numerous times in the past 10 years to other people, what are the three most important things in your life? And when I then asked, because nobody has ever said myself. So when I then ask, why not yourself? Sometimes people have reacted in self-defense, like, that goes without say, of course. But we didn't say it. We didn't say me. And there is the law of intention. There is clarity and conciseness about what we think. And so okay, now let's tie this back into love, and kind of continue going backwards from here. So the question I ask now is, what is love? What's that all about? And well, a few months ago, I was with one of my sisters in Slovakia. We were with her children, and we were just chilling out in the house. And her darling 4-year-old asked me, she said, Manj, what is love? And it was really like, I was really besides myself when she asked me. It was such an honor for this young, beautiful child to ask me that. And I took a deep breath and I turned around and I asked her right back. And I said, well, what is love for you? And she just said, well, I don't know. So I paused and I thought about it. And I said to her, and there's a million other things now that come to me, in the situation. But I think I said to her a few things. And one of them was, remember when we were upstairs with Mum and your sister and we were playing music in the playroom and we were doing yoga? That's love. Later on in the day, we were, Mum put on some music. It was George Michael's Freedom, and we all danced to it. And I think at the time I said to her, hey, this is love. When we eat, it's love. What we eat is love. When you sit in the hammock with Mummy and your sister, that's love. Love is, it's so many things. I can't name everything that love is. And for you, it's so many things. It's so many different things. And, when I popped into Pinterest the other day, I was on my Pinterest account and I popped in love. And the first thing that came up, and the same with the sort of Google, the first things that came up were two people, relationships. And I think that is a whole different conversation altogether. That's not the type of love I'm talking about today. And yeah, whole other day. What I want to talk about is you and me and our own self-love. So we've talked, so I've mentioned what is love, had this beautiful conversation with this child, and that continues to play in my head. And I go from there to what is self-love. So I'm going backwards here because I started my videos with victimhood and self-pity and, a lot of emotional stuff. We've gone around to different places. And do you know what? Everything's based in self-love. The foundation of everything I talk about is love. So, a lot of people say to me, but Manj, I just don't know how to love myself. I don't know what to do. And I'll tell them, let's start with the I love yous, but I don't have time is what I hear. I've got to remember, Manj, thank you for reminding me, I've got to take some time out in my day to do the I love yous. But it's really not that, it's not that calculated. It really isn't. Self-love is right here, right now. You tuning into this, whether it's live or whether it's a week from now or a month or a year, you tuning into me right now talking about love is you loving you. Okay, you're becoming more self-aware, or you're well self-aware, and you're improving, you're growing. For me, love is, I've said this before, it's the connection with yourself, right? And carrying on with this, with the self-love. Someone said to me recently, but I do that. I've done what you're saying, and it's not going anywhere. Well, let's put it this way. When we're born, we're born in this I wouldn't say we're born from love. We don't, who knows what our parents were going through when we were conceived. I wouldn't say that conception comes with love. Those are two separate things, in my opinion. But in any case, I'm talking for the majority here now. We're born, and we're the cutest little angels, aren't we? We smell good, even when we're somehow pooping. We're cute. We're the most adorable things. We just lie there. Mom breastfeeds us, and she looks down, and we're just the cutest thing on earth. Quiet or crying, whatever, but still we're so loved at the end of the day. I often hear from moms, God, I had such a crazy day, but God, I love them. I love, there's just so much love, right? When we're little. And then And then, and that's when we're not really mobile, we're not really talking. And the way that I see it is, we get to today, and somehow all that love that we had, that was there for us, gets taken away. So we come to 20 and 30 and 40, and we're like, the character in The Alchemist, looking for ourselves, searching for something that, we're searching the whole world. We're going everywhere. We're looking. We're lost. And what do we know? Do we even know what we're looking for? And that for me, that is love. The thing that we're looking for is this connection within ourselves. So going back to us when we're tiny little cute babies, and everybody loves us, everybody wants to come over and see us and hold us and whatever, and then we start to walk and we start to talk, and all of a sudden we're the cutest thing, and people are happy and clapping when we're walking, and or saying a new word, to then we say the word fuck or shit, or something that we've only just heard our parents saying. We have no understanding of what the word means. It's just that it's something that we hear. We're sponges and we just mock that, right? So we go from being totally and completely loved, and then we start walking and talking, and it's, when we start walking, no, don't touch that, don't do that, all this stuff. And all of a sudden, we're starting to get these messages, other people's programs, of to not do things, right? And, we grow up, and, we hear things like, don't think you're so clever. Don't be so proud of yourself. You should be more modest. Things like that. And doesn't that just squish? Think about it. You think about it. Doesn't that just squish the spirit? Why shouldn't we be proud and happy and show the whole world the picture that we just drew, and be able to be happy about it? Recently, I don't know what I did. I can't remember. And I completed something. And I said to my mom, I was like, wow, Mom, I'm so smart. Look at what I just did. Totally childlike. And she said to me, God bless her, in the way that she knows, in the way that she's raised, in the way that she's been brought up culturally, religiously, in the family sense, whatever. And she said to me, don't be so, God, no, it was more along the lines of, don't be that way. Don't think you're so smart, because God doesn't want that. And I took a breath, and I was like, actually, God does want that for me. God does want me to be smart. Why would we hide the things that we're amazing at? Why would you hide that you're beautiful? Why would you hide the fact that you can sing, like sing? Why would you hide? We are, it's nobody's fault. There's all this conditioning, all this programming, all this societal stuff, familial stuff, all of this stuff. And this is why I make the video for you now. For you to go inside yourself, to question, to turn the switch in your mind, your own mind, and be the person that you are, without question. Without question. And so how do we tune into ourselves? It's a really fair question. I already said, people say to me, but I don't know how. You tell me to love myself. What does that mean? Fair. What does it mean to love yourself? Does it mean to put on your coat on a winter's day and go to the spa and, sit there for 2 hours and think about your day, hate yourself through it, and, hate, whatever. And but you've gone to the spa, so you've done something loving for yourself. Yes. You don't need to go anywhere. Right here and now, we can stop, and we can pause, and we can get really quiet, and we can put our hands on our heart and just say, hey, I love you. And that's it. You just do that right now. I've given you time, little pause, little bit of silence, nothing else around you. You're tuned in. Just say I love you to yourself. And then comes this, but nothing happened. Well, let me tell you this. After a lot of practice, so I talked about the 2-year-old child who has gotten everything, so much love, all of a sudden starts to walk and talk and whatever, and then is hearing no, 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 and continues to hear no, no, no. And of course, yes, I talk about my experience. I talk about the experience of many who I've spoken with. There's a lot of no. There is a lot of squishing, not on purpose. I don't think we intentionally hurt each other. Everyone's always doing their best. But this is the result, right? Where we're like the kid in The Alchemist and we're searching. So how do we do it? Well, the practice is simple of how to start loving yourself, but it is a practice. So I want you to just imagine, you can close your eyes if you want to. I'm just going to give you a little scenario here. So you're walking down the street. It's a beautiful day. And you come across a child sitting on a bench, a little boy or a little girl, a really young little thing, maybe 5 years old. And the child is sitting there weeping. There's nobody else around. And you notice the child. What do you do? What do you do with the child? Do you ignore the child? I would say the chances are not. I imagine that most people would go to the child, ask what's wrong, just kind of be there. Some people, I think, would just go and embrace the child, put the child on their lap. What can I do? How can I help you? What's the matter? And going from here, let's take a step further. Imagine that for how old you are, whatever, from let's say 2 or 5 years old to however old you are, you've had that child inside crying for your attention, and you've just ignored that child. You've decided to eat instead, or you've decided to smoke instead, or you've decided to go to the gym and exercise instead, or you've decided to clean the whole house or the apartment instead. You've decided to go and just, go to a brothel. You've decided something other than stopping at that bench and nurturing, consoling that child who's crying. And that is how we end up searching all over the place for the child that's right here, saying, here I am, please listen to me, please, I'm right here. And so when the practice begins, when you start with the self-love and it's not working, imagine that child again on the bench, and imagine that you've walked by that child 1,000,000 times in these past 20 years, 30 years, 40, 70 years, because it's never too late to love yourself. So imagine you just keep walking by, and that's what we do. That's what we've done. So when you say to yourself, I love you, when you say to yourself, may I be the love that no one else can be for me like I know how to be for myself as never before, when the child inside of you doesn't stop crying, doesn't flinch, and you turn around and say, hey, Manj, do you know what? I did that once, 10, 15 times, and it didn't work. Imagine that you've walked by that child, that crying child, 1,000,000 times. So it might take a little while for your child, for that kid inside of you to start trusting you. So you keep going. You keep going with the I love yous, hand on your heart, whatever. You don't have to go anywhere. If you're tuning in right now, hands on your heart and your mind, say I love you. It is simple, but it requires practice. So if you wake up every morning and rather than, you know, the idea of, or on top of the idea of, I'm going to get up at 5:30 every morning and go running or go to the gym or do my meditation practice or do whatever, make it also your practice to wake up and say, good morning. Here we are. We're going to do this day. I love you. That's all. That's really all. And if, you know, the more you can start to do that for yourself, you watch your world change. I know I say that every time. And every time I come here, guys, I've been doing this for 8 weeks now, and it's surprising the shit out of me. I promise you. Things happen. Things will happen. It is a never-ending story. You know, this thing that we've been taught that, you know, religiously, culturally, or whatever, that we're not supposed to be smart or proud or be more modest or whatever. I don't believe in that, and I ask you to question that too. I mean, look, there, you know, let's articulate this, Manj. There are fine lines. There are really fine lines between arrogance and confidence, right? And you find the place for you. If at first, when you start your practice of self-love, you're coming across as a selfish, whatever, so-and-so, so be it. You love you like nobody's loved you before. Like nobody's loved you before, because nobody will. Nobody will love you like you need to be loved. So you go to that place and you start with yourself. If you're looking for love, whatever that means, if it's a relationship or a job that you love or whatever you can think of, you start with you. Be the love that you wish to attract. So honor yourself, respect yourself. And you know what, actually, there's a wonderful thing that I picked up last year. And I'd love to share this with you as well. And that is, you know, if you are looking for love, let's start practicing this. Let's start noticing love. Let's start to notice it all around us, you know, whether that means for you, you know, you go onto Facebook and you see that, and you're solo, but you'd like to be in a relationship, and you're noticing, God, you know, this person's getting engaged, and you know, that person just got married, and you know, whatever. Instead of having the kind of knee-jerk reaction, like, oh God, why not me? Why don't we start blessing those people? Like, oh man, that's really awesome. And you know what? If you can't do that, you know where we go back to. Love the one who's jealous or whatever. I allow myself to be jealous. I allow myself to be envious. I allow myself whatever. And then love the one who's jealous and envious and whatever. You're allowed. You're allowed all of those things. Okay, it's happened to me. I've gone through those things as well. You're allowed to feel whatever you want to. Just do it consciously. Let's do it consciously. Let's do it. So, I'm wrapping up here. The final thing is, yes, you know, may I be the love and support for myself that no one else can be for me. Keep saying it. Keep going there. Because eventually that crying child is going to hear you. And it's going to start to respond. And you watch your life change. You watch your life change right around you. So, thank you. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. This is really exciting. I've done 8 videos. That's 8 weeks of changing my own life through you, with you. I thank you. I thank you ever so much. God bless you. I think I'll have some more things to say on this. And as always, I do a write-up after the video, which you can find on the feed tonight for anything that I've missed. And then I convert everything over to YouTube for your friends who might not be on Facebook. And by all means, share Share the message of self-love. Help me spread it, because you know what? This is what makes the world a better place. So often I ask people, you know, what's your purpose in life? What do you want to do? And the answer is so often, I want to help people. But you know what, my darling? We help ourselves first. Let us fill our own hearts. And then we can, together, we continue as a huge wall of love, helping others do the same, and they do the same. So it's this beautiful ripple effect. That is it. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. May you be blessed with so much love for yourself right here, right now, today. Celebrate you. I love you. Thank you.